Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy.
Day we hustle, but the night we
OG boy. Know that they ride or die.
I'm a
OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but the night
Boys by my side. Know that they ride or die.
Tasty, wet, and fast food media. Is there anything good to eat out there? Let's get it. What do you see when you see this? Do you see something delicious to be devoured, something finger-licking good? Or do you see a highly processed and poisonous thing that's called food stuff, only because it's illegal to refer to this as actual food according to the FDA? Well, depending on what you see, you'll either shake your head as you look around for something better, or you'll put this into your mouth, chewing it up and swallowing it, making it an integral part of your own body, inside and out. And speaking of bodies, check it out. Do you see this as eye candy? Something to be used, tasted, and cast into the draught? A tasty side piece to what will be the main course eventually? Or do you see wifey material? Well, what you see when you look says a lot about you and who you are becoming, who you may be becoming. When we talk about eating for the body, we talk about eating, we're talking about consumption. We usually think of consuming food through the mouth, which is normal. We can make conscious decisions based on whether we want to feed our health and our brain or simply indulge our desires, lusting for what we find we have a taste for in the moment, what we think we've developed a taste for. We allow this into the body. But it's what we consume with our eyes, what we choose to listen to, and what we choose to allow into our mind. That's what's more crucial, because this is what informs us, in turn, as to what to allow into both mind and body, present and future. You see, you are what you eat. Whether we're talking about bacon cheeseburgers with Coca-Cola or a delicious green salad and flavored water, it's what we allow into the body that becomes part of the body in the moment. In the same way, replacing a brick that's fallen out of the wall, over time, the newer bricks will eventually replace the whole damn thing, the whole blessed thing. The human body replaces itself in its entirety every 7 to 10 years. Meaning all the physical person that you are today, walking around, talking, going to the gym, or sitting on a couch, all of that body will not exist 8.5 years from now, though you'll still be alive. You'll have a new body. You will be entirely the new material that you supply along the way. A different person, for better or for worse. It's what you eat. But that's the entire person. When you're talking about skin, for example, your skin cells have a lifespan of 2 to 4 weeks, meaning you'll have a whole new skin suit in roughly 27 days from now. And the quality of that new suit will depend on the quality of the bricks you supply. Cheeseburger with pork bricks will tend to wrinkle and sag worse than fresh plants and flavored water, all joking aside. This animation that you've been watching it's an animation of a protein synthesis happening inside of the cell. This is part of what happens when your old skin cells, for example, are dying off and the replacement cells are being made. The information from the previous cell has to be copied, it has to be transcribed, it has to be sent through messenger RNA to the new cell that's going to form. That's where it gets the instructions to make the new cell as the old one dies off. And this is just a small part of what's happening in your body. Each skin cell, each little machine that you see functioning here is essentially a molecule construct. Each cell in your body holds about 42 million of these protein molecules, 42 million little machines running around doing different things. The energy and the material for all of this action must be provided through nutrition. Like little workers on a building site, you gotta feed the workers and then they need material to build the buildings. But the worse the diet, the more mistakes and breakdowns happen at this level. This is what results in accelerated aging, bad health, and mutations, aka tumors and cancers. But yeah, as fascinating as that may be, what's it all got to do with wet ass pussy? Well, let's talk about eating for the mind. Media, it's a product made for consumption. Make no mistakes. May be called entertainment, edutainment, whatever. It is a product that's been sculpted and made for the mind, for the consumption. It has ingredients that appeal to specific tastes. It's either edifying, satisfying, and nutritious for the mind and spirit, or it will make you fat and lazier than any cheeseburger with pork ever could. You see, this is because what you feed your mind will build the body of intelligence. It will empower you to make better choices with your brain. Everything from your mood and self-esteem is filtered through the brain and the way you see the world. Imagine the process that I showed you, all the technical work that's going on inside of the cell. Imagine that being applied to what you consume in media. All of the images, scenes, and blogs are taken in through your eyes and your ears. Snippets of violence, sex, or both at the same time being fed into the intricacy of every thought, being separated and processed as inspiring or disheartening, feeding into newer emotions and thought processes, turning you into another person over time. In your mind. You see, it's easy when we talk about a fat burger and what it does to your hips and your gut, but we tend not to see the connection when it comes to fast food media. The things we listen to and watch on a regular basis are not just the stuff that can feed our dreams. Through our perceptions, they can make more nightmares of our realities. It all starts with the information. Giving information is giving formation to what is not yet real. A greasy cheeseburger with swine is not yet a human cell, but once we take it in, once we allow it in through the processes that happen inside, it becomes a human cell in reality, sloppy as it may be. So to inform is to give form, and to do this on a regular basis is the act of formation. Understandable when we're talking about the body, talking about the mind. Well, think about a computer, because I love my metaphors. The brain is an organic computer, the original, right? It computes the information that it receives and it processes thoughts, feelings, and senses on a constant basis, whether you're asleep or awake. You understand what I'm saying now when you form your opinion based on the computational capacity of your brain. what you're looking at, what you're hearing. That plastic thing in front of you or that you're holding in your hands, well, that thing is just a tool to watch and to hear. This is also a computer in an artificial sense, whether you're an Android, iPhone, PC, or Mac. You see, no matter what device you use in this sense, they're all require programming in order to run the functions they are designed to do. You watch YouTube videos and send text messages, for example. The regular updates that you download to your device should come from the designer, or at least be compatible with the essential design and components of the device itself. The physical device has to match the unphysical information downloads. They have to be compatible. So what happens when you install bad software or malware? The device crashes, quickly or slowly, because it's unable to carry out the functions it was designed to do in a productive or healthy way because of the bad programming, the conflicting messages or information. So the organic computers of our brains will run the function of the programming that we receive, whether healthy programming or malware. The constant updates that we download from media screens, Netflix, trap music, whatever. The constant updates that we download will determine the functionality of our brains and mental health in reality. This is the feedback loop and the cycle between media and reality. When life imitates art and vice versa, people will come to accept, and they'll even go as far as to act out what they consume regularly, becoming the very things that they allow into their minds, into their bodies over time, no matter how outrageous, even developing a taste for it. Let's talk history. Put this in context. You see, the history of nutritious food has declined. It's been a story of decline since the Industrial Revolution, at least. It was a time when industry moved from a society that was a farm society, a gregarian society, by and large, to working inside plants in concrete jungles, building sites, offices, and so forth. Basically removing people from a soil-rich, earth-enriched environment to one of hard asphalt and metal foundations. Now, in this kind of manufactured landscape, it was viable to ship food to the apartment houses, the dwellings, and the buildings and so forth. It made sense, at least from a commercial standpoint, to package things that could be popped into ovens. Since no one was out growing food and preparing it for themselves, it had to be processed and shipped, which also led to the need for preservatives and the foundation of the processed food industry. You see, the other side of this page is that people went increasingly from family-oriented networks in nature, where sunrises, natural river streams, and so forth, those things were real, and they had to be witnessed in real time, in person. Society, by and large, went from that place to a place where even those sights and sounds could be boxed and shipped along with the TV dinner. Visions of the world became as artificially processed and boxed and packaged as the meat and potatoes eaten in front of it, a distortion of reality being interpreted by TV executives and special effects artists. That's who prepared the food. In this sense, the food is grown as genetically modified and artificial as the media portrayals that we consume in order to understand the world outside of our homes and minds. We look out through the window of a television screen and we see things as they've been prepared for us to see, processed and packaged. We walk out in reality and we see something and we think that the price label on the thing that we are buying, we think the price label applies to that thing. But as we are soon to become the thing that we are buying into, because we're going to consume it, The real price to be paid is on our own identities and intimacy of our own thoughts. Think about it. And as you do, think about how much of what you're thinking is already being instinctively politicized and censored within your own thought processes, influencing even what you dare to admit to yourself within the secrecy of your own mind. You're hesitant to say that certain things just don't make sense. You're hesitant to think it because you know you project being punished. You barely dare think it and much less say it out loud because you've been bombarded with the images and rantings about someone who dared to express themselves with their hate speech and someone who dared to express what they really thought contrary to the go along, get along opinion. Shout out to Kwame Brown. You see, something that makes absolutely no sense at all in your organic nature, you loathe it, you detest it, but you even fear that kind of perversion. But you say nothing because you are becoming more and more of what you eat. A media that calls you crazy and conspiratorial for even thinking that you can express yourself honestly. So in the recesses of your mind, you stay locked in silence, even where they cannot hear you. You know, a wise man once said of the disingenuous, of the hypocrite, let them alone. They are blind guides of the blind. But if a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit. You know, I second that. Truer words never spoken. The truth is that you are designed to be a human. You were made to be a human. And that design preceded your building. Whether you think that was all information encoded in some random accidental genetic code, right? You've seen just a snippet of the intricacy and the functionality that's happening 42 million times over in each and every individual of the trillions of cells in your body. Now, whether you think the information that built you came from an accidental environment such as that environment being an accident, or you believe you were designed, you reasonably believe you were designed. Either way, you are a human. You were made to be human, to run with a program of humaneness, with humanity in your thoughts, speech, and actions, and to consume more of the same nutrition to sustain your own life. Humaneness feeds humanity. What do we become if we begin to develop a taste, a desire for inhumanity? You see, the truth is non-negotiable, even as reality processes and puts up charades all around you. Truth is non-negotiable and still will be at the end of the day, as surely as the sunset. The question I have for you is, based on what you're letting in, who will you be by then? Thank you for listening. Leave your thoughts, your opinions, and I will respond. Again, you're welcome to like and share this. And if you use any of the thoughts or the content, just give me a shout out. Let me know about it. I appreciate it. Comments can be left here in this channel, and I've also posted the email here. Bless you.